Hello and welcome back to the channel. In today's video, I'm going to be showing you how to use the massing interface in Revit to model parametric panels. So this can be helpful in things like stadium designs to model the envelope, and other uses you can use it to model other things like roofs, floors, and so many other things. So if you haven't done so, make this the video, hit the like button, subscribe to this channel for more content like this. Don't forget to hit the notification bell to get notified once we release new videos. With that out of the way, let's move on. So we are going to start from opening a new file in Revit, which to do that, once you've installed Revit and you click on it, you are going to see this interface. So we're simply going to click on new, and we're going to change this from Imperial Metric Multidiscipline to, we're going to click on this drop down icon and change it to Metric Multidiscipline. So I'm going to be starting from a scratch product, so I won't want to hear any you didn't start from a this, how did I get to this point? So I don't want to hear any of that. So I'm going to be starting from a new project. So what we're going to do now is, before we start modeling anything, we're going to work on the view templates. So we're going to be working on these views because I don't like it the way they are. Firstly, let's go to this project browser, and we're just going to minimize the things we don't want to see. So let's minimize this sheet, minimize structural, minimize plumbing, minimize mechanical, minimize electrical. Okay, we can leave this coordination. So now we're going to start working on this view. First thing to do, I'm going to click on this section. I'm going to click delete. I don't need this section. I'm going to select this north arrow, right click, hide in view by element. Then I'm going to click on this crop region. Then I'm going to go over to this properties panel. Then I'm just going to click on this drop down icon where this scope box is and click on none. Then it's going to be more editable and controllable without the need for editing the scope box. Then I'm just going to click on it, and I'm going to increase the size just a bit. I don't want it to be too big. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to select this two section box. We're going to right click, and we're going to hide in view by element. Okay, so now what we're going to do now is we're going to click on this elevation viewpoint. Under this elevation viewpoint, we're going to go over to this properties panel here. Then we're just going to click on this drop down icon, and we're going to change this to none. Then we're going to click on this far clipping. Instead of no clip, we're going to click on clip with outline. Then we're going to replicate the same setting for this other viewpoint. All right, so once we've done this, we can now select this viewpoint. We're just going to right click and highlight like this. Then we're just going to move it a bit. We're going to do the same for here, move it a bit. We're going to right click, left click, highlight everything, then drag it down. Left click again, highlight everything, then drag this one up. So now once we click on this viewpoint, we can now edit the range of the view. So I'm just going to increase it. I'm going to hover around this point and just drag it here. The same thing, click here and drag it here. Then I'm going to click on this one. I'm going to be replicating the same procedures. Then I'm going to drag it here, move this here, click on this, drag it here, and drag this here. Also drag this here. Click on this, drag it here, drag it here, and also drag it here. So now we've done this, I think we're in a good position. We're just going to hover around these panels here, these options of icons here. Then we're just going to click on this hide crop region. Once we've done this, we're now going to go to one of the elevations and confirm, so we can start working on the levels. So I'm just going to click on this plus elevation icon under this project browser. Then I'm going to click on this east. So now as you can see that we are not seeing any of our levels. So what is causing it is the scope box. So we're going to go to this 3D view, and we're going to start working on it. So we're just going to click on this scope box. We're going to rotate this. Then we're just going to increase the size of this scope box, because this new Revit 24 is the scope box and the levels are usually linked together. So if you increase the scope box, you increase the view range of the levels. So I think this should be enough. So if I go back to this east elevation, you are going to see all the levels. So firstly, I'm going to delete this second level, and I'm going to be creating my own level. So I'm just going to click on delete and click OK. I'm going to rename this one as 01 NGL. Although the names aren't important, but I just like doing it. Okay, so once we've named this, we're now going to create a new level. We're going to click on levels. Then instead of this no head level, we're going to click on this drop down icon. We're going to change this to 8mm head. Then we're going to hover around and place this level at 20. Let me use 15 meters because it's not really a very big stadium I want to do. Or let me just use 20 meters. Okay, so now this is done. You can see we have created this level. It will currently show level 3. So I'm just going to click on it and I'm going to rename it. So now once we've created the levels and the levels are set, we can now start going into the model line stage. So this model line, some people might just start massing immediately. So let me just go to this L1. But this model line kind of helps me articulate what I'm going to mass. And once I enter the massing interface, after I've done the line works, everything will just be seamless and easy for me. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to architecture. We're going to click on this model line. So this model line draws a line in 2D, and this line can also be visible in 3D. So it helps a lot in massing and for mass forming. So we're just going to start by drawing a small pitch. I don't want this to be on the scale of a real stadium, so I just want it small. I'm going to make this pitch 50 meters. That is 50,000 millimeters by let's say 30,000. Okay, so I think this is appropriate. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to modify. I'm going to click on offset. Then I'm going to be offsetting 1.5 meter from this side. Okay, not 50 meters, 1.5 from this side and this side. Then I'm going to click on architecture again. I'm going to click on model line. Then I'm just going to use this start arc tool, and I'm going to use this to create a full semicircle at this point. So I'm going to be creating like tracks. Then I'm going to click on offset again, and I'm going to offset 5 meters. That is to form the tracks around. I think 5 meters should be enough. Then I'm now going to offset 15 or 20 meters from this point here. Okay, so now I'm done offsetting. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go to architecture again. I'm going to click on model line, but this time I'm just going to pick a new plane. I'm going to be picking one of these reference plane. So I'm going to go over to this tab. Instead of this placement plane to be NG, I'm going to click on this drop down. I'm going to click on pick. Then I'm just going to pick a plane. Then I'm going to click OK, and I'm just going to pick this reference plane. Then it's going to ask me open not elevation. Let me just open 3D for now and see how it is. So now the thing is in 3D. If I rotate this to this view, I will now be able to draw a profile from here. Now, because I've selected one of these reference planes cutting across the middle of this project, or somewhere close to the middle. So I'm now going to use this model line, and I'm going to draft a profile, just a simple line profile at first. Then I'm going to offset it to 25 meters. So what I'm going to do now is just to mimic the effect in the Chelsea's new stadium proposal. I'm just going to draw a 6-meter line here. I'm also going to draw another 6-meter line to just give it that hexagonal look it has. And I'm going to draw another line joining this, draw another line here, draw another line here. So now I'm just going to delete these lines here, delete this one, delete this one, delete this one. So all I need is just this one, which I think is good. Okay, so what we're going to do now is we're now going to create our form. Now our line work is done. So you can see all the model lines here, and it's going to help us while massing. So we're going to go to this massing interface. To go there, we're going to go under this massing and site. Under this massing and site, we're now going to click on in place massing, and we're going to name this mass 1. So we're going to start creating the massing model we want. So I'm going to click on reference. I'm going to click on under reference. I'm going to click on pick line 2, because we don't need to draw new lines. We already have model lines to guide us. So I'm just going to be picking this across this my model lines. Okay, so now this is done. I'm now going to click on reference point. So under this reference point, I'm going to try and select the middle of this reference line I created initially, just one of them, and I'm going to select this one. Then I'm going to click escape. Then I'm going to go to model lines. So under these model lines, I'm going to click on set. I'm going to click on set work plane. Then I'm going to hover around this reference point I created, and I'm going to click on tab once, and I'm going to click on it to select this plane. So now I'm just going to click on this pick line tool, and I'm going to be following this line, this sectional line we created for the profile with the model line. So once I've selected it, we are good to go. Then I'm going to select all this model line. I'm going to hit tab once to select one of these reference lines, because Revit massing is not really like model in place that you just sweep everything through. So I'm just going to click on create form. So if you didn't see what I did, let me just hit Ctrl Z. I selected this, or I hovered around this, clicked on tab to select only one of the reference lines, selected it, hover to this create form, click on this drop down if you want, and create solid form. So that is how to do it. So now we have created one part of it. We are going to be creating the other part, which is very simple. I'm going to select this line, select this line, select this line as well, hit tab again. Then I'm going to click on create form. The same thing, I'm going to repeat it to create all the forms here. All right, so now we've created this massing. We're now going to click on finish. So now you can see the massing. If I change this to fine and change this visibility display option to, let's say, shaded, you are going to see it's going to appear in one kind of translucent blue color. All right, so now we are done creating the overall form. We're going to be creating the panels. To do that, we're simply going to go under this architecture tab. We're going to click on cutting system. Then we're now going to make sure we highlight this select multiple. So we're going to select all the faces of this our. Alright, so once we are done selecting the faces of our massing, I'm just going to click on create system. So it's going to take some time to load, given that this massing is actually big, but we're now going to work with it and we're going to edit it once the thing is done creating. Alright, so once these grids are done creating, we're going to edit this grids. You can see some grid system that has some intervals and lines in between, but this is not what we want to create. So we're going to just click on editing type. Then once we click on edit type, we're going to make sure this is in fixed distance, which is all fine and good. So now we are going to change this spacing. We're going to change the spacing to, let's start at 900. Then we're going to change this grid to spacing. That is, I think, the horizontal spacing. I think we're going to change it to, let's use 1 point, or let's use 15,000. That is 15 meters. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to be selecting a type of mullion, and we're going to be using that mullion, and we'll later edit the mullion. So I'm going to click on this interior mullion type, and I'm going to select this rectangular mullion, and I'm going to make sure it's going to be the same thing I'm going to select for every other mullion option. That is border 2, border 1, all of them. So I'm going to be making sure it's this 65 by 125 rectangular. Okay, so now this is done. We can even, if you want to place glass, we could select some glazed or empty panels. We can make it solid. Let me just make it glazed, for instance, and I'm just going to click on apply, and I'm going to click on OK. All right, so now as you can see, the thing has created, but one thing I noticed there is still some horizontal grids that I don't want. So I'm just going to increase the spacing to 25,000, so it's going to eliminate it possibly. So I'm going to click on apply. Okay, I actually wanted to remove some of these demarcations in between. So I just want the panels to be continuous without any demarcation. To solve this, I'm just going to change these borders to none. I'm going to change this to none, and I'm also going to change this to none. I'm also going to change this to none as well, and change this to none. Then I'm going to click apply, click OK. Delete mullions. Alright, so once it's done, I'm just going to click OK. So now we can see what it has created. As you can see, we're just going to see how we're going to edit these mullions. So now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to click on tab to select one of these mullions. Then I'm going to click edit type. So now I'm going to be editing this mullion to my own specific taste. So firstly, I'm going to make the width, let me make it 225 by 225. Then I'm also going to now make the thickness 150. Then I'm going to assign a new material to this mullion. I'm going to change this to right click, and I'm going to change it to a darker shade of aluminum. I'm going to go under metal. Then I'm just going to change this to gray. I think this gray will be fine. I'm going to click apply, click OK, click apply again. Okay, so I think this is good. So I'm just going to click OK. So as you can see now, you can now see what we've done. So now I'm going to go back to this massing and site, and I'm going to click on this show massing to hide the massing element. So you can see this nice panels was created, or this nice panel system. So I think we're pretty much good here. So as you can see, let's just go and pick a nice perspective view. So I'm going to go back to this L1, and I'm going to go and click on this show crop region. So I'm going to be able to see the crop region. Then I'm going to go to view, click on this drop down, use the camera shot. Then I'm just going to pick a nice perspective view from this point, and I'm going to select it. So now let's just leave this at this point, and let's just edit some graphics parameters. So I'm just going to click on this to hide crop region, select this, hide in view by category. Then I'm now going to hit the GD icon, just GD shortcut for graphic display, smooth lines with anti-aliasing, turn on shadows, cast shadows, show ambient shadows, go to lighting. Then I'm going to click on this insertion lighting, top to left, and I'm going to click OK. Then I'm going to increase the sun to about 90, increase the ambient light to about 20, reduce the shadows to 10. I'm going to go to background, click on this drop down, gradient. Then I'm going to be selecting it's light blue sky, and I'm going to click OK. I'm going to click apply. and I'm going to click OK. So as you can see what we've created. Very nice, juicy parametric shape. You can see all the panels, how they can form what we've done. So I think this is just a video to show you more light into the massing interface in Revit and how you can use this tool to try and achieve your desired projects. All right, so if this video was helpful, don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe to our channel for more content like this, because we do this on a weekly basis. Don't forget to hit the notification bell to get notified once we release new videos like this. With that out of the way, I'm going to wish you good luck. We are going to see you in the next video.